So did you discuss those concerns with a healthcare professional?
They told me he's young, he's a boy. You know, boys develop more at a slower pace than as opposed to a girl. And just give it more time and see how things would interact. But then they also told me that since it was just me and him at home, that perhaps I should look into daycare or get him more involved in with other kids so he can interact with.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did, at the age of 2. It was at the daycare that he wasn't interacting with nobody. He was 3, still putting things in his mouth. He should have graduated from that program. There were other things that he should have graduated from, he didn't. And they brought it to my attention. I was like, he'll be fine. It's just me and him at home. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. And it sounded good, so I stuck with it. Right. An art therapist had went to the school with musics and exercise equipment, I would say. And that caught his attention. And they were discussing with her about him. And she evaluated, and she said, I need to speak to this parent. She turned to me and she goes, has anybody ever spoke to you about autism? I'm like, autism? What's that? And she described autism to me. And I said, no, nobody did and nobody will. So I grabbed my son and I came home. You know, but she never gave up on me. The daycare provider came down. She was like, look it. Do the test. It's yes or no, nothing involved. Just do the test and we'll take it from there.
And did you have any difficulties getting an evaluation for him?
I didn't because the therapist had everything all lined up. She just needed my permission.
How did you hear about early intervention?
I bumped into another Indian kid when I was in the park, and she was like saying that her kid has a diagnosis of ADHD, and how early intervention helped her kid come out of the initial struggles, and now he is in a typical school, and even though she is struggling to build him up to a typical kid, and I was very impressed by what she said. It's the first thing is like it's free of cost, and they come to your house. At that time I did not have another car. My husband had a car, but I did not have a car. So that is the main problem for the first 3 years of my son's life. And then when I gave them a call, she was even saying like, your child has to be in a significant delay for him to get services. When they came for evaluation, they did say that he has red flags. And then another thing that she kept doing every week was, did you contact CCSN? I was really worried about the last 2 words in there, special needs. No, my child is not a special need kid. So I was like, no, I don't think I don't think he fits there. He doesn't need that. He's not a special kid. So I used to tell her all this, like, no, I don't think, I think I will consider. That's all I would tell her. I wouldn't say that I'm sending the packet to CCSN. So it took a while.
So it sounds like the early intervention therapist was really helpful to let you see what the difficulties were. So at what point did you decide, all right, I'm going to send my packet, or did you go back to the pediatrician another time before sending your packet?
I did, after the early intervention told me, I did go to the pediatrician. Do you think he has autism? She was like, I cannot diagnose him.